Hi y'all, welcome to a new video. Things have been on the struggle bus around here lately. I don't know what's going on. There's something in the moon or the stars. Anyway, I need to dye my eyebrows. So I thought I would show you how I do that, take you through all the tips, tricks that I have gotten. Disclaimer, I have pretty sensitive skin when it comes to dyeing my brows. I also have very fine hair. My hair doesn't hold on to the dye as long as I would like it to. And I have patches where my brow hairs are more tangled, so they tend to grab onto more product. And I have developed a couple of strategies for dealing with that. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dye my brows. Yay. Oh, I guess I should show you what I use. So this is the Godfrey tint kit. It comes in a bag. I don't like the way bags sound on camera, so I took it out. So the kit comes with these tiny little, they're basically capsules. You don't want to take them, you just want to break them open. It comes with a bottle of developer. This is 3%. Yeah, it's 3% developer. And I don't remember which tools it actually comes with. I'm sure it comes with this like dual comb brushed guy, because I have two of these now. This is the second time I've had to rebuy this kit. But then I've also thrown in a bunch of tiny little eye brushes that do make a big difference. Okay, so the first thing that I do, especially with my really sensitive skin, I'm already wearing a little bit of skin care. I'm already wearing a bit of skincare. I went out earlier, I had a doctor's appointment, and I'm wearing sunscreen. I'm wearing that hyaluronic acid sunscreen, but I am going to go in with just a little bit of an essence to hydrate and prep my brows. Just to make sure that everything goes on smoothly and nobody gets terribly angry. Milkshake, because it's a milkshake. It was either milkshake or tacos. Milkshake was faster. I have fallen head over heels with a taco joint right near my house. It's like less than 10 minutes. And their tacos al pastor are amazing. Everything is good, Rachel. It's fine. All right. So I'm going to take just a little bit of the developer on my finger. I'm going to smash it between my two fingers and then run it through my brows. This is going to help any bits of brow dye go on a little smoother. I don't know if this is good or bad, but it's just something that I find works for me. And I'm going to use a spoolie and like just brush that through, make sure there are no big clumps, and make sure my brows are ready to like take the dye. I'm also going to move the brow hairs back and forth. Again, making sure that they have that bit of developer. So my hair is pretty thin, especially my brows. They do not like to hold on to dye. So at most, I'm going to get about 2 weeks worth of wear out of this. But for me, it's worth it because I have a very round face, and getting my brows in shape gives my face a little bit less roundness. I'm going to take one of these capsules and break it open and throw it into this little container. This is the bottom of just a tub of primer, and I like the size. I can stick it in the bag. Can I stick it? Yes. We're gonna go with stick it today because it's a fun word to say, and any bit of fun helps me a lot. So I used to think that using a smaller amount of developer to the same size of dye would give me a more concentrated, and thus it would wear off slower, but it doesn't do that. It just kind of grabs on and it doesn't distribute as evenly. So I tend to use about a 3-to-1 ratio of developer to dye. And I believe this is I don't know, this brush has tape all over the handle. It's been used, abused, neglected, loved, all of that stuff. And I'm just going to use this to just mix everything up. I like having a designated container for this because it means I'm not reaching for like disposable cups. It means that I have no excuses either. Everything I need is right at hand. I just need to do the thing. And for me, with my executive dysfunction, you know, sometimes doing the thing is just too much. And there are other times where like doing the one thing is all I can do right now. And right now I am in the latter. So this is what we're doing today. It's fine. It's still fun. It's informational. All right. So magnifying mirror for me, huge help. Also, a couple of Q-tips. So first thing I'm going to do is run the dye underneath on the underside of my brows, like where I would go to fill them in, and then kind of just bring the dye up. I'm not worrying so much about shape right now as I am just making sure all of the hairs get coated. I also have these little guys in the front that just get ignored most of the time. We want to welcome them to the party as well. So a thin coat and then a thicker coat on top. I'm going to take a Q-tip and clean up around the brow. And I'm going to tap out any of these spots that are just too much. All right, I'm going to let that side dry and do the other side. Okay, so I've got the second brow. I've got dye on it. I'm letting it sit for a moment, but there's something about my left eyebrow to my right eyebrow. They don't gel. They don't behave in the same way. Like the right eyebrow is the calmer, easier to, you know, while the right brow is just explodes. So I'm letting that kind of set, and then I'm going to go back over it and see if I can't shape that up. In the meantime, I'm going to go over the right brow with a little bit more dye and just make sure everything is like patted in and coated. So I have tried using other brow dye. You know, I've tried using Just for Men. And like nothing in general seems to prolong the wear. It's just how long my brows hold on to the dye. So I have to pick and choose my battles and where I'm willing to put in effort versus where I'm willing to just throw in the towel and go around looking like a naked mole rat. Because sometimes that's a vibe. Note, while this dye is setting, I'm going to go out to my garage and grind glaze off of ceramic pieces with my brows dyeing. See what I mean? It's just not, it moves around, but we can fix that. Sometimes I find just using a Q-tip instead of the brush helps target placement. The brow dye also dyes my tabletop. So even laying something out like a tissue or the lid of a container, that helps. So worst comes to worst, just kind of glom it on in a thick coat. There we go. It looks like frosting, but it's on. And this is just emblematic of like what's happening in my life right now. Things are just chaotic and not in the kind of chaos that I generally like. All right, take a look at the shape, see if there's anything that desperately needs to be cleaned up. And again, picking and choosing where I'm cleaning up and where I'm adding, because my brows can be temperamental. All right, it is 5:45 now. At 7:45, I will wash these out and I'll give y'all an update, and we'll check in again tomorrow once they've had a chance to sit overnight, because that's when they normally start showing their true colors. You know, when I wash them out at night, I'm not necessarily getting all of the dye out. It's a process. So I will see y'all in a couple hours. Okay, it is almost 8 o'clock. The brows are like hard set. If I, rub my fingers over them, I can almost pull dye off. So again, in order to cut down on the amount of irritation, I'm going to go ahead and use just a gentle moisturizer. I use an oil, just anything hydrating to start breaking down the dye, but that's also going to contribute some moisture and help with keep my skin from getting irritated. I also use one of these microfiber rags. These things are amazing when it comes to taking this hard set dye off of my face. I'm gonna go wash my face and I'll be right back. All right, so I washed my face. I don't know if you can tell, but there is some redness and a little bit of irritation. Overall, I'm happy with the shape. It will start to soften and fade. Okay, I washed my face. I used my CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. I also used the Naturium Creamy Camilla Cleanser. I put that in my brows and I worked it in to help break up that hard set dye without irritating my skin too much. So I have a process. I am going to, the next step, I'm going to put a little petroleum jelly, just a little layer over them to just hydrate, protect, soothe, all of that stuff that I want to do to that tender skin. And then I will put on like my nighttime skincare and all of that when I'm ready to go to bed. But hey, I did something today that actually worked and didn't turn out horribly. So this will last probably about 2 weeks. And then I'll have to decide, like, do I want to just let them go? Truth be told, I don't even notice when they've completely faded. I just start putting more stuff in my brows again. So that is going to do it. So it is 2 days post brow dye. I thought I would give you a final update. They're pretty good. I like them. I know that like one side is lighter than the other. That's normal. It happens. I will probably dye them sometime next week. I just want to I was going to over dye them today, but the skin's still a little bit tender. So I don't want to expose my skin to the developer and all of that stuff again. So I'm going to give it like a week and then I'll come back and dye them again. But this is where we are now with that, 2-hour dye mix that I made. I actually did hang on to the dye in case I wanted to do it right away, and I don't. But that is it for this video. Thank you for spending this time with me. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you are taking care of yourself so you can take care of each other. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, friends.